Hello book friends, I'm Allie. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am getting in the mood for fall. The beginning of fall, the first official day of fall, is next week, and so I've been getting into some fun, cozy reads for the season because it's my favorite season, and I've seen a lot of other people expressing the same emotions about fall. And I've seen a lot of people doing recommendation videos about books that they really enjoy reading during the fall or they thought had nice, cozy fall vibes. So I thought that I would give you guys my recommendation for some books that I really enjoy for the fall season and some genres that I think are fun for the fall season. So without further ado, let's get into it. To begin with, I have a young adult series. It is 4 books and it has to do with vampires. That is The Vampire Diaries. Now, you probably have seen the TV show on, I think Netflix. I think it was Netflix. But these books are vastly different. The TV show basically took the characters and made its own thing. And the books are much different in tone. And I absolutely love these books. They are so much fun to read. These follow Elena as she starts her school year, and the beginning of the book goes straight into the fall season, and then the books kind of work into the winter season, so it's got that fall starting school vibe, and she meets a new guy in school who is very attractive, and it turns out that he may or may not be a vampire. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with the premise for these books, and each book ends on a cliffhanger, and it gets better and better as you go, and then the last book will have you flipping pages like, oh my goodness, I did not know that that's where this was going. These books are so good, and they are wonderful for the fall season. They get you right into the mood for some creepy vibe stuff. These books are a lot of fun, and I highly recommend them if you're looking for a good vampire story. Next up, I have some middle grade for you. This is a book that I read whenever I was in elementary school, and I have read since then. It is also a movie. I absolutely love it, and that's Bunnicula. If you have never heard of Bunnicula, I highly recommend you go either watch the movie or find one of the books. This is actually the collection, so this has 3 stories in it. The first story is just Bunnicula, the second is Holiday Inn, and the third one is Bunnicula Strikes Again. These stories are kind of creepy, but they are creepy in a middle grade level. So it's not so creepy that you're going to be freaked out to go to bed at night, but it is creepy enough that you're like, oh my goodness, this is kind of terrifying. Because, you know, Dracula bunnies, just saying. But this book is super cute, and it is great for a good fall vibe, and it's just the perfect amount of creepy. So if you're looking for something kind of creepy, a quick read, something that's just kind of fun to get into, I recommend these books. They are a really good time. Next up, I have a few different books, all in the same genre, and that's going to be cozy mysteries. I have several authors that I like to recommend for this genre, and the first one is I think between middle grade and young adult, Joan Lowry Nixon. This particular one is The Weekend Was Murder, which was one of my favorites. This follows a girl who works in a hotel, and there is a murder in one of the suites, and she takes it upon herself to start investigating it. There are several books that she writes that are creepy vibes and that have some type of mystery to them, and I think that her writing is great. I happen to really enjoy the way that her stories go. They're very quick, they're very atmospheric. I think that she's really good at building just that creepy vibe that you get with, you know, what's going to happen next kind of feels, but it's not so bad since it's middle grade to young adult. So these are a good choice. I have Rita Mae Brown. If you've ever heard of the movie Murder, She Purred, which is a fairly old movie, this is the book that goes with that movie. And as a matter of fact, she has a lot of books in this series, and I have several of them. This is not the first in the series. I just picked this one up because it's one of my favorites. This is Murder, She Meowed. It follows a lady named Mary Harristine, and she goes by Harry. She has a cat named Miss Murphy and a corgi named T. Tucker, and she ends up getting herself involved with some mysteries that happen in her little town, and she always sticks her nose in places that it shouldn't be, and her cat helps her solve the mysteries. If you like stories like that, this is a seriously fun author to read. I love Mrs. Murphy and T. Tucker. They are hilarious, and these mysteries are always such a hoot. Next, I would like to recommend Lillian Jackson Braun, and this is the Cat Who series. All of these are fairly thin. There are so many in this series, but any Cat Who book, honestly, you could read anywhere in the series if you wanted to. This is the first one, The Cat Who Could Read Backwards, and it follows Jim Quillerin, and he is working for a newspaper, and because he gets involved with a murder mystery that he was covering as a reporter for the newspaper, he ends up inadvertently adopting a cat named Coco, two Siamese cats named Coco and Yum Yum, and they inadvertently help him solve mysteries. And he doesn't exactly want to adopt a cat in the first place, but then he ends up with two, and they change his life. And these books are just really quick. They're really fun, cozy reads during the fall season. And of course, I have to mention Agatha Christie because she is the queen of mysteries. This is Murder on the Orient Express, which is one of my personal favorites of hers. This one follows Hercule Poirot as he is solving a murder mystery on a train. You might have seen the new movie that came out recently, which I thought was fantastically done. The book is just as good, if not better, and all of her books really are fantastic, and they all have different central protagonists. I personally like Hercule Poirot because I think that he's very witty and very Sherlock Holmesy, but any of her books are really just fun to read during the fall. After that, I'm going to hop into the fantasy genre, and I'm going to go back into middle grade because I happen to really enjoy middle grade. And Diana Wynne Jones, Howl's Moving Castle specifically, I love this book, and I think that if you're looking for a fun fantasy to sit down with, and wrap up in a blanket, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and enjoy the crisp breeze coming through your window, this is a great book to do it with. I've first read this book during the fall, and I had my windows open, and it was just so much atmosphere. It was just fantastic because you're following Sophie as she goes on this crazy adventure, as she accidentally gets turned into an old lady because the Witch of the Waste is jealous of her. She ends up on a crazy adventure, and she meets the wizard Howl, and it's just a fun ride, and I couldn't recommend this book enough. I love this book. This is one of my top favorite books of all time. And the movie is also fantastic. Although the movie is very different than the book, I still think that either one are going to be really great. This one specifically is fantastic. Another fantasy, Stardust by Neil Gaiman. This, again, I just love fantasy during the fall because it's like you're getting whisked away into another world while you're enjoying the season change outside your house, and this one is a great one. You start out in a small little village where Tristan wants to propose to this beautiful girl in his town, but she's kind of stuck up, and so he tells her, I'm going to go get that fallen star for you that landed over the wall. And the people in the village aren't really supposed to go across the wall because there is magic across the wall, and he goes anyway. And it's about how he sneaks across the wall, and he goes on an awesome adventure into this magical world, and he goes to find a fallen star. It's not a shooting star, it's a fallen star for the girl that he is in love with. And I don't want to tell you any more than that because I don't want to give anything away, but this is a great read for the fall. It's really just a great read in general because Neil Gaiman is fantastic at just writing anything. I love Neil Gaiman. And lastly, I can't have a recommendation video without recommending Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter, and Harry Potter goes to school starting in September. He gets on board the Hogwarts Express, And I can't recommend fall books without saying Harry Potter, because it's one of my favorite series of all times. I know that Harry Potter has its flaws, and I know a lot of people have read Harry Potter, but I'm still going to throw it out there that this is great to read during the fall. And like, if you just want to read the whole series, pick it up in September and go straight through the end of the year. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful time of the year to read these books, and I really enjoy always getting back into this world because it's so nostalgic for me. And you know, the boy who lived, it's the boy who lived and keeps on going because it's just a wonderful story. So if you haven't ever read Harry Potter, you should check it out because it's great. So these are the books that I would recommend for the fall season that are just kind of fun or get you in a cozy vibe for coming into the season. If you have read some of these books and you'd like to chat about it down below, please drop me a comment. I would love to chat with you. If you're interested in some of these books and you want more information on it, also drop me a comment. I'd be happy to talk to you. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.